core pieces that a consultancy would need to consider in order to really put themselves in the right position to take advantage of the metaverse, even if it's not necessarily, for tomorrow?
Number one is you need to use the most powerful word in business that is least used, which is no. Meaning your clients are going to say, hey, we want to do this or we want to do that. You need to tell them no. It's not that particular use case or that particular story. It's just not ready yet, and then move them and focus them on things that are viable, useful use cases for today, for the current state of technology and the adoption in the industry, right? They exist. They are often highly limited, but they are things that can have very impactful results, but it's not going to be things. The second one is recognize that due to the state of the technology and the adoption that we have out there, focus on what I call $1 million minutes. So things where, for example, that architectural situation, the client puts on a headset, the customer puts on the headset, and they only need to use it for 10 to 15 minutes at the most to get $1 million worth of value. Now, is it really $1 million? Is it 100,000? I don't know, but it's not $50, right? And the reason is because remember, all technologies are spiky and painful at the beginning. Consulting services are to make them nice and smooth. Over time, the second and the third generation of the technologies get smoother on their own. We are currently in the spiky phase. You as a consulting company need to realize and convince your client you need a lot of consulting handholding to make this successful. And that could be flying people on airplanes to the customer's office with the headset, setting the whole thing up on Wi-Fi beforehand, doing a 30-minute personal tutorial with them for understanding how it is only for a 15-minute meeting that's worth $1 million, right? Or moving into things like, for example, one of the biggest issues when people try and do, let's say, these activations where they want a lot of people to show up, instead of spending all the money on polygons and bitmaps for the worlds, they should probably spend a lot more on advertising and screening and getting people enrolled to show up to the event. It's more about event management than the technology and building of the world, right? The famous case being the EU party where they spent $500,000 building the world and 6 people showed up. Well, if they spent half the budget on marketing to get people to show up in general, you could have at least doubled those numbers, And so I think those are the things to focus on. Is number one is realize that whatever it is that your customer wants to do needs to be time appropriate. So you need to have the will and the strength to say no in a nice way and steer them towards $1 million minutes, things where this can really have an impact. And number 3, more consulting services, not less, in order to be successful, because there's 100 other things that have nothing to do with the headset that have to do with success on this particular situation. And so those are the 3 things that I think that consultancies, if they want to be really successful and have clients be absolutely thrilled with the outcome, you need to kind of be hard line on those things.
And I want to build on the no and almost turn it around, because you need to say that no. But before you say no, you have to start with letting them dream. I think one of the things that kind of consultants err on is basically telling people what's out there, which many times is kind of pretty kind of lame in the scheme of what they really need. Have them start dreaming. What I suggest doing is sit down with the executive people and have them think about what they would love to have that right now does not exist, because they cannot pay for it, they cannot create it in the real world, they don't have it, but would really make their business more effective, their relationship with their customer more impactful, and start with that dream. And most likely after they put their dream, you'll have to say no. But you want them to dream about it, understand where this is going, rather than just say, okay, here's 5 things that have been done. Have them dream, start with where they want to go, kind of bring them back to reality of what can be done today, because we're really early in the cycle, and then grow from there. So that's one element. The other one is understanding, as a consulting firm, is what is your specialty, what you want to own yourself, and what do you want to basically bring a partner in. And kind of we've done some of that partnering. Basically, we have a lot of domain expertise. Kind of working together has been a very good kind of partnership, and that's something that kind of I implore other consultancies to think about. And the third thing is kind of once you've basically figured out you want to do it, you want to try. Don't be afraid. Don't keep this as a theoretical, but figure out kind of what you can do that will get that impact, that kind of $1 million moment, and go do it. And sometimes it's not going to have the result you want, and you might have to redo it, kind of like with the EU thing. But kind of if you don't try, you'll never succeed. So those are the three things from my end.